Hey YouTube, I'm back with another video. Hey YouTube, I'm back with another video, and this is episode 8 of Car Confession. I know it's been a minute, but I was like, let me get back to our confession because it's been a minute, and I also know that I also use my Car Confession series as, like, for people that aren't able to join my She Is Me meetings and want to get some insight into what I have maybe been talking about or what I have talked about in the She Is Me meetings. I want all my tools that I talk about in She Is Me to be on my YouTube so that y'all can go and watch it later if you miss a meeting. Anyways, let's get into it. Today's topic and what we are going to be discussing is accountability. So, how do you feel about accountability? How do you react when you are called out? When somebody calls you on your shit, how do you react? Are you like, oh, you got me fucked up, or do you go in this whole rant? Or are you able to be like, okay, yeah, I was wrong in that situation and I apologize? Your sense of lackness or your sense of lack of enoughness, right? When you feel like you're not enough, it's hard to take accountability, right? Because it's just like, I don't feel like I don't feel like I'm enough. So to take accountability for something that I so-called did, nah. But we have to be able to take accountability. It's important. All things that we allow and accept and promote and ignore when we don't feel like we are enough upholds the system of unjust and oppression that we see in the world. Right? When we don't take accountability and when we feel like we are not enough, that is an injustice and oppression that we see in the world. Have a plan so that you will not have the same results, you guys. Have a plan so that you won't have the same results. When you do something that is repeated, it is insanity. If you doing something that that's not right or is not the best, and you continue to do it over and over and over and over and over, and you're not learning from your experience, that's insanity. We got to get out of that. A tool that has transformed you into what you want is the gift of accountability in conversation. The willingness to tackle the elephant in the room with kindness and firmness, right? When things go on, right? Or you enter a room where you can feel the uncomfortable sensation and feeling or overwhelming feeling that you feel when there is uncomfortability that's happening, right? So if you are able to have a conversation in spite of being uncomfortable, in spite of it being awkward, in spite of no one else taking the initiative, if you can do that, you are on the right track. Being able to take accountability in conversation is amazing. It's amazing. Sometimes it's hard because people don't be wanting to own up to their faults. People don't want to be wrong. But we live in a life and we live in a world where it is okay to make mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes as long as you are dusting yourself off and trying again, right? But trying again in a new way, right? Not repeating the same way is wrong or is not getting you the efficient results that you need, right? So I challenge you guys to take more accountability. As people, we are we are struggling to navigate transition. Sometimes for humans and individuals, it is hard for us to accept change. We don't want to change. We are comfortable. We are comfortable. We got to get to a space where we are comfortable with being uncomfortable. Right? So if you haven't checked out that car confession, being comfortable with being uncomfortable, you definitely should tap into that. That will be in the description below. But being comfortable with being uncomfortable. Change causes growth. Right? When we're stagnant, we're not growing. And we want to grow. The growing numbers on the scale of our personal debts and etc., preferring to bury our heads in the sand and hope that some miracle will self-resolve. We like to ignore things, right? When we don't want to deal with it, we don't want to think about it, we don't want to address it, we ignore it. We don't have time to ignore things anymore. If we want to be the best version of ourselves. When things aren't right, you must say something. And when you are in the wrong, you must take accountability. We cannot push it and press it onto someone else. It's actually very attractive when you can take accountability. When you can own up for your faults, own up for your actions, apologize and move accordingly. You have to be able to hold yourself accountable. When things occur, when things come up, be able to own up to your faults. Own up to your faults and what part did you play? Because when you do that, no one else can accuse you, right, of anything, because you're owning up to the part you played. Identify what part you played and hold yourself accountable for it, good or bad. On our journey through life, we can only confront the problems that we are aware of that we have. The only way that we can grow from the mistakes is to acknowledge that they exist, right? So getting back to not ignoring those things, not ignoring them, but taking ownership. Taking ownership. So 5 steps on how to hold yourself accountable, right? 1, accept that you could be wrong, right? 2, be mindful. Check yourself. Before anybody else can check you, check yourself. Make sure that you are in the right, or you have the informative information before you go off in a tangent and go off into this whole spiel. Make sure you are being mindful and checking yourself. Choose to process. Process, you guys. Process. Right? When you get into maybe a little a quarrel or a slight argument or what have you, right? Take that time. Because when we're in the heat of the moment, we usually just say whatever. We're not thinking about what's really happening. We're going strictly off of what we're feeling and how we're feeling, right? So if you take that time to process, you will be able to communicate effectively and be able to take accountability if you took the time to process. Take action. Take action. Taking action means that I am doing all of 1, accepting that I could be wrong, being mindful, choosing the process. That's taking action. right? And number 5, be humble. Be humble because you may not know everything. Be open to learning something new, right? If you don't know 50% or more, listen. If you do not know 50% or more of the information that you're sharing, right? Listen. The key to being successful is accountability. Responsibility and accountability are not the same, but they need each other, right? Accountability is about taking responsibility and acting responsible and feeling responsible about the results. Brain science of being called out is amygdala, which is a part of the brain. It controls our emotion, the words we talk, the body language, the facial expressions, the tone, if we feel threatened, right? That's what happens in the actual brain. It sends us messages to the rest of the body, which signals our body into fight or flight or freeze, right? When we are being called out. So instead of going into that fight or flight or freeze moment, take the time to process what the person may be saying or what they may be accusing you of, right? And then in that, if you processed it, you were humble, you thought about the fact that, okay, I could be wrong, and now you can take accountability. Accountability is so, so important, you guys. It is going to further your future if you're able to take account for the actions that you commit and the things that you do. As I said, it's very attractive when you can take accountability for the things that you do. But anywho, I hope you like this video. I love you guys so much. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and also hit that notification bell so you can get notified every time I post. And I'll see you next time in the next car confession. Peace.